My name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching and with the Academy Soccer Coach tool. Today I want to talk to you about the 3-2-4-1 formation. It's a formation that's not very popular. Not a lot of people use it, but I've found that it gives an immense amount of flexibility. And if you have the personnel for it, instead of jamming your personnel into a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, which seem the most common formations, this gives you a lot of flexibility, especially in the area with your sixes here. If you really don't have an another center back, you don't have someone that you know that you can play in this middle role as well as you'd like them to. It gives you different options. So I want to talk to you about the four phases we can go through, and starting with our attacking phase. You've got the two sixes here that provide us with a lot of cover. So really, these two center mid players can get forward, can become your 10s, can become a 9, and can really push up. And we can get numbers into the box here, especially if the ball, let's say, is out wide. We can get numbers here. We can have this player pivot, become the pivot for the back here, and this player then can slide in and be a central 6 that's going to break up any counterattacks. You can then push this winger up. You can push this winger back and provide even more cover, and you'll still have 4 to 5 attacking bodies in the box. So in the attacking phase, definitely can throw numbers forward. You have your 3 backs. They can even get involved in the attack. If you want, you can get a outside back here overlapping, much like they do at Sheffield United when they were on their flyer and they were qualifying for Europe almost. They send their center backs here, drop the 6 in, and allow for an overlap from an attacking, basically, center back position. So you can get creative. I'm not going to go over everything you can do, but you really have a lot of attacking options with the number of players you have in the attacking part of the field here. And we'll reset it here. So the next phase I want to talk to you about is we've lost the ball. We've lost the ball high up on the pitch. All right, we played to a forward. He didn't get to the run. They are on the ball in the corner here. We have significant numbers that can press. If you think about it here, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4 players pretty quickly onto the ball with an immense amount of cover and balance behind. Okay, so we get pressure. They're covering. If they look to switch, this guy can go. If they look to play over the top, we've still got our 3 backs plus another 6 involved. If they try to play through the middle, you've got a 6 and another attacking midfielder here. If this guy's even too far, we can slide the winger in. This center back can get tight. This center back can press forward. He can go over here. And we can get tight like this. There really is. Look at this pressure. Look at the cover here in the middle. And look at the balance we have. Again, this guy gets back. We push it out wide. You really can play a very attacking, pressing style out of this formation. Now, we won the ball. Let's say this player, because of the pressure we put onto him, has now lost the ball and played it to our back here. He has 1, 2, 3 short options. He can go forward, he can go sideways, he can go backwards. The 3 options that you want your player to have at all times. In addition to that, because there's 2 center mid players plus 2 more behind them, with our 6s here, we can get our center backs back into position. This player can consistently stay wide. They don't have to cut in. They don't have to lose their width as the attack rolls in. You can always have a player on this back post where that if they're going to block up this area here, if they're going to block up the attack here, we can roll through a 6 as a pivot and play the ball wide, or we can simply switch the ball, because even if the ball comes short and is in the box and stays within the position of most opportunity here, there's the center mid. So let's reset so we can see all this back into our regular shape. Ball in the middle here. So we pull back, and again, we're right back into our 3-2-4-1. So plenty of options, plenty of attacking options. I would say the weakness there is that you are going to have vulnerability if you do press numbers up. If you do have this guy up here, the 7's out here, the 9's pressed over. We have the one of the center mids, the 8's pushed up. The 11 gets caught too high. This 6 up here. You are going to, just as any time you have a 3-back pairing, you're going to have some vulnerability on the wings here into the corners that is unavoidable sometimes with their 3-back. But with the 3-2-4-1, you do have this option. So we'll go to the final phase, the defending phase, and you again have a number of options you can play out of here depending on your personnel. So we drop back. We're playing maybe a medium or a low block. We're dropping in here. We have our 2 6s. What we can do is we can play a pressing 6 and a defensive 6 who will slide almost right back into our back line. And we drop here. And we can always play a 4-4-1. We could play a 4-5-1 in defense. We have some options there. And this guy, as your 6, just presses up and goes in and attacks the ball and can kind of roam within that midfield space between our back line and our midfield and have the options to kind of just pressure the ball wherever they find it. Now, in addition to that, we push back into our 3-5-2. We can drop into 5 backs. We just drop both 6s into the channels between the outside backs, and we drop into a 5-4-1 in defense. In addition to that, we can just keep our 3 backs. We can keep our 3 backs. We can drop a winger a little bit deeper, so we kind of get this bowl shape in our defense, and have the 2 6s go rove and help out the ball. And we create a box of defense here in the midfield. And then it's pushed out wide. You have these almost triangular options to pin the opposition here. So you've got your triangle here. If the ball is pushed out wide, they're going to get caught in this triangle. And vice versa, if it gets pushed out here, you've got this triangle to adapt and attack the ball. So again, you're in defense, although it has a number of attacking options. In defense, you have just as many options on how you want to stack your defensive back line when you've lost the ball. So in review, I think really the benefit in the attacking phase is you can get numbers forward, you can get creative, you can get overlaps from either your 6s, you can get center backs involved. It really is kind of a plug and play of whatever style and personnel that you have for your team. In the lost ball phase, when we've turned over, you can get significant numbers in the press, and they really can feel comfortable because you can drop that 6 in and drop maybe the outside back, and you're going to have tons of balance if they try to play anything quick over the top. So those guys can go in quick. We've got numbers in the midfield. We've got numbers on the reverse side. If they try to play anything long, we can slide our back line. You really have a lot of options to press and feel comfortable in that press with the amount of cover you've got. When we won the ball, I would say the only negative there is that you might have too many players on the ball that maybe are options, and you kind of can get cluttered. But I think that's better than having your one player press, run for days, and then get gassed, and it's usually your 9, and he's not really available to do much after that. So you've got numbers. You'll definitely have someone to play forward, sideways, backwards. You can always create width with the outside, the 11 or the 7, or even an overlapping center back. So you really and you can play right back to the middle because you can have a double pivot, you can have a single pivot with a defensive 6. Again, a number of options you can play out of that, plus your 3 central attacking options. And then finally in defense, you can play a 3-back, you can play a 4-back, you can play a 5-back, you can drop your wingers back, you can play a high block, low block, mid block, whatever you want, and you have the numbers for it in the midfield. I think having those 6 midfielders really creates, while it may start out as a 3-2-4-1, allows you to be very liquid in your formation and find different ways to get the best out of your personnel that you have on the field for that day while maintaining a basic system the entire game. So again, this is the 3-2-4-1 formation.